Okay, this week on the podcast, we've got 3 guests joining us, plus we talk about UFC 198 that happened down in Brazil. We've got the results from BAMMA, which was champion versus champion, happening in the UK. And we also talk about some upcoming bits coming along.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Always, you have me and I have my man Mike with me. So Mike, give us a shout out.
Hello everyone, how are we doing?
There he is. Well, Mike, they can't respond, but I'm sure they're doing absolutely fucking spot on. Okay. So like I said before, we've got 3 guests this week for you to listen to. You can jump on the playlist. I'll have it there for you to jump on to check out who's on there. We have got Kurt Holoblog, who's back with Titan FC after his little venture to Russia. We talked with him. He was awesome to speak to. And also, because he's gone back up to 155. He used to fight at 145, back to 155. Can't wait to talk. To look forward to seeing him fight at that weight. Dustin Kramer, come on. He's fighting on the Shamrock FC card coming up. He is also a guest we've had on before. Lovely speaking to him as always. And the man himself, the 145 king of Titan FC, the undefeated fighter, Andre Harrison. He came on. We had a chat. So check it out. Just listen, enjoy. You know, folks. Share. Also, because you're checking this out, hit the little like button. Not that much. If you don't have to, but ideally, if you're not going to hit the like button, hit the share button. Share this, get it out there. And Mike, let's jump into the BAMMA card that happened down in the UK. We had BAMMA champion versus champion. So, some of the fights I want to talk about which stuck out more than anything, really. Let's talk about the main event, which was the Fire Kid himself, Tom, I'm going to kill his name, Duquesne against Shea Walsh. The Fire Kid again is just doing what he's doing. He's now 13-1. He's destined for big things. He even rejected, so to speak, or said no to a UFC contract because he wants to develop his skills. He's at Jackson Wilco-Johns. He got an elbow KO finish. Not much to say else about this dude. You got Martin Stapleton as well. He fought the weekend, defended his belt against Damian Lapulus again. It was DQ though. It was a bit of a shame the way illegal knee to a ground opponent. It's a shame the way the fight ended, but these things happen. You also had on Mark Godbeer, the return of the UK #1 heavyweight, so to speak, against Stuart Austin to unify the title, the heavyweight title, because Mark Godbeer had the belt, had a hiatus. Stuart Austin came in for an interim title. Mark Godbeer went in, got the finish. Mark Godbeer is also going to be fighting on the Bellator card in the UK, and he's going to be fighting Paul Mulhern. Yeah, Paul Mulhern. That was announced last week, so that's on that Bellator card. Again, it's happening on that Bellator card. I am semi-interested, but for the price of the tickets, not that interested, folks.
I'm curious to know how well that sells. You know, it's not a cheap dude.
No, it's not, no. Another fight on the card was Walter Gahadza against Colin Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher, I feel awful for the man. Got a disqualification for an illegal elbow straight off the bat, pretty much. Absolute shocker, absolute shame. It's this stupid downward elbow, stupid rule that needs to really just get binned off ASAP because it's pointless. And Mark Degeski finished Kane Musasi, which was like the big kind of fight because of the smack talk, the weigh-in incidents, you know, the whole thing. All in all, the card was pretty good. Ronnie Mann made a return against Graham Turner at 145. Ronnie Mann won at 145, got the winning ways for UKMA fans. Not a bad card, good results. Pretty much most of the favourites all won their fights. I thought Colin Fletcher was the only one who didn't because of a stupid rule. I think both guys won't even accept that fight. They'll just write it off because it was just a shambles. But let's go to UFC 198, Mike, though, because that's fights that you've watched, that's fights you can talk about. Let's look at what fights you fought that stood out to you, that you enjoyed. Let's go.
Well, okay, yeah, so...
Right, take your time. It's alright, we'll sit here all day.
Well, it was also, you had Little Nog fighting. Now, he hasn't had a win for a long time, so he say, I think he was going to be retirement if he lost that night. But he came in and got a finish against Pat Cummins. And he looked good throughout the fight. You know,
Yeah.
controlled. And his striking, you could think, was just on another level.
Yeah, well, the thing was that stood out to me, the thing that sold the fight for me anyway to Little Nog was when I saw the it was the countdown, the UFC countdown with Fabrizio Verdum, because Patrick Cummins actually came to help Fabrizio Verdum with the wrestling side of things, and they were training together, and then I saw Patrick Cummins do pad work, and it stood out like a sword. His technique was way beyond the standard needed to be able to throw, especially with someone like Little Nog, who has got a very, very good, solid level of boxing. Like, people don't know, Little Nog has got very good hands. Yeah, he got absolutely destroyed against Anthony Johnson, but that, yeah, that stood out for me, and that's what sold. I was not shocked or surprised at the way the fight went down. So Patrick Cummins, I think Patrick Cummins is just literally, he's getting that reality check that he's not near that level in the MMA world to compete at the highest level. He's never going to get another title shot. The only reason he got one is because of luck and fortune. So he's pretty much going to ride that for the rest of his life, and he should do, because Patrick Cummins, he's a beast, but he's not a dangerous beast. He's not the best.
Title shot.
He had a title fight. Patrick Cummins had a title fight against Daniel Cormier, didn't? No, I'm getting mixed up.
Daniel Cormier wasn't champion at that point.
Oh, he wasn't champion. Sorry, no. Main event.
The racing title against Andy Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually his first fight in light heavyweight, I believe.
Yes. Oh, who's Patrick Cummins?
No, Daniel Cormier's first fight in light heavy, I think it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, sorry, I made a mistake there. You're right. I think if he got the win, he would have got a title shot or something stupid like that. Maybe, who knows? But anyway, look.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Patrick Cummins is.
Yeah, John Lineker made weight and fought the.
Well, John Lineker was going to make weight because it was 135. It's the weight class he should be fighting.
I know. I'm just shitting on him. But you know what? He looked very good.
He is good. He is. Yeah.
I mean, he looked tiny in that fight.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's a force to be reckoned with, even at the higher weight class.
Yeah, he is. And what you got to remember is Rob Font, hell of a chin. He didn't quite release. He didn't let that trigger go in the fight that I thought he should have. Maybe I think what happened was the power of John Lineker came through, and it probably just threw him off his game. It really probably did shock him. John Lineker, though, I can only see John Lineker going up and up, top 5. He's just going to be one of them guys in the mix all the time for that kind of bantamweight region. He is such a good fighter to watch, and because he's going to be entertaining. So I think he might get the loser of the Thomas Almeida, Cody Garbrandt fight, or even the loser of the Brian Caraway and Aljamain Sterling fight. I think he might get the loser of either of them two. I think it'll be an awesome matchup, and I look forward to it anyway.
Yeah, big guy, so it'd be interesting to see how he takes them right now. But yeah, also I was very, very impressed with Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo keeps ticking him over. Yeah, you're right, Mike. He is. It's something we can't really ignore. Yancy Medeiros is a legit fighter in a 155. Ronaldo, he's ticking over those wins. I think it's one of them ones where you probably have to give him a guy who's, top 15, solid guy to really test Ronaldo, to see where Ronaldo really is. He's on a 6 fight win streak, I think it is, actually. But kudos to Ronaldo for getting that win.
And he's got some good wins in those wins as well.
He does, yeah. He beat Ross Pearson as well. But again, Ross Pearson's one of them ones where he will flirt with the top 15, Ross Pearson. But will Ross Pearson break the top 10?
That third win, he needs to string those wins together.
Well, I'll be shocked if, yeah.
Ronaldo, hats off to him.
Yeah, another thing that didn't shock me, Thiago Santos putting Nate Marquardt to sleep. Nate the Great is not great anymore. Nate should have retired in his last fight with a win, and again he's got finished again. I just feel like someone needs to have I think Dane needs to have a word with Nate and say, look, stop fighting. You can't keep doing this to your brain.
Sally, I think when you get a fighter that gets to that point in his career where he's getting stopped, and I think he got stopped in the first.
Yeah.
It seems like his resilience is just not there anymore.
He's not got the chin. He's simple as that. It's just wear and tear. And he's old school. He trained full-on sparring back in the day. So all those knocks that he took in there, they just took their toll, and it's something that happens in the fight game. It's why fighters that he's punched his ticket basically, and that's why people like Robbie Lawler takes away this, doesn't do the sparring as much because he saves himself for the fight, and that's the way fighters nowadays, the way that it's evolving. It's going to happen. Sparring's not going to be what it was, 10 years ago. It's going to be a lot more technical, even, a lot more relaxed, so to speak. Fight that stood out for me, well, I say stood out, it's only because I love the dude. Damian Maia, Matt Brown. Now I love Matt Brown, but I said if Damian can get the fight to the ground, Matt Brown, it's going to be like the Johnny Hendricks fight, and it's exactly like pretty much how I said it was going to be.
I tell you what though, hats off to Matt Brown. He had Damian Maia on his back and all over the place.
He did, yeah. Matt Brown's defense, yeah. Matt Brown's jiu-jitsu defense has improved vastly, and that's a great sign for him. But the problem was he was fighting against a guy who just basically dominated for 13 minutes. The fight was on the ground, and it was all Damian Maia just with the attacks and the problems. And Matt Brown did do well, but it was never gonna. Matt Brown just couldn't stop it. He just couldn't stop the kind of tidal wave that is Damian Maia. And now Damian Maia, for me, Mike, he's in that position of, what else do I have to do to get a title shot? But the problem is,
well, I'll answer that for you. Damian Maia needs to do nothing more.
No, yeah.
He should be there. That guy is strong, wins one after the other.
But, Mike, I will stop and say, what happens though? Stephen Wonderboy beats Rory McDonald. What do you do then?
Yeah, I believe Damian Maia should be next though.
Yeah, but the problem is, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson probably is going to get, Wonderboy will probably get the title. I think that Damian Maia.
You and I laid the former champion in one round.
Yeah.
Let's say he does the same against Rory. It's a shit one.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's great to be the UFC to have that option. To be stuck, so to speak, to be like, what we're gonna do. Again, I'm still beggars belief that Tyron Woodley's get a title shot against Robbie Lawler. In my opinion, I don't think he should be, but he is. That's happening. So I would not put Wonderboy Thompson against Damian Maia after this. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know. I think it depends on the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fight and Robbie McDonald fight.
I wouldn't be surprised, knowing that Robbie Lawler is always in a tough fight. I wouldn't be surprised if he then has to have a little bit of a layup after the next one. And if Stephen Thompson, or let's say Stephen Thompson has a reasonably quick win,
Yeah.
good match Damian Maia and the winner of that fight.
I don't think you should take Wonderboy Thompson and Damian Maia against each other and knock two contenders off. I think it's silly. I think I don't know what they're going to do. It's a really tricky situation. But yeah, I think the Tyron Woodley bits messed it all up. So anyway, do you know what I want to do though? I want to give my hats off to Brian Barberena. That dude keeps getting put in fights where he's technically the underdog, and he keeps coming through. And he's just beat a guy in Wally Alvarez who had a bit of a hype behind him. But the problem with Alvarez, I've said it before in conversation, not actually on here though, he's a one-round guy. He's got a good one round in him, but you start to just break him down, and he starts tight, and he does. That's the thing. He expels too much energy, and he lost this fight purely on the not being an efficiently energy expelling fighter. He just blew his load in that first round and just didn't have much for the second and third, and Brian just came on and just started picking away.
And do you know what? I'd love to see him in a 5-rounder, because he just got stronger as the rounds went on.
He did. He probably would have got a finish.
But I tell you what, I'd also like to say thank you, the officials in Brazil, for making the right guy win. Because let's be honest, we've seen the Brazilian officials give it to the home fighter.
Yeah, we have, and they did.
I mean, it's shit. I'm complimenting them on doing the right thing. They should just do the right thing anyway.
It's common, Mike. Yeah, it's very common. But yeah.
So anyway, I love that fight. That was one of my favourite fights.
Look, Shogun, Corey Anderson, hell of a fight to score, to be fair. I've had people say they scored for Anderson. I've had people say they scored for Shogun. It was a tough one. I think I favour it for Shogun. The reason why I probably favour it for Shogun is the fact that he really did rock Corey Anderson and dropped him a couple of times. And
He's just out of time for finishing him,
yeah.
that round.
You know, I'm not saying he should have finished Corey Anderson in that fight, but the fact that he dropped him and hurt him a few times, that's damage. You know, you're putting him down because you're hurting him, and that's what the name of the game is. At the points, the way they say it works on damage and aggression, and he's been aggressively damaging Corey Anderson by dropping him and giving him like it's almost like a flash knockout in a way. So
yeah, I totally agree. You're pretty much stuck between the two.
Yeah.
You have to say, like, okay, what were the moments you remember in that? You know, and yeah, it's okay. You can only win round one.
Yeah.
But yes, you know, he inflict that bit of damage. You know,
He did, yeah. He did indeed.
You know, so yes, agreed.
Look, the return of Leslie Smith coming back and fighting in UFC after she's got a contract renegotiation done against Cyborg in a 140 fight. I think it was a beautiful sight, really. The most beautiful thing was seeing Cyborg in the UFC. I think that was the thing that, for me, was the touching moment. It was great because I think it was inevitable. I thought it should have happened sooner, but it's happened. She actually weighed in at 139 pounds, which she looked ridiculously shredded. But at the same time, it gives you optimism and hope that there's the chance that she can get to 136 or 135 for the title fights if she was to go down there. Let's talk about the fight, not talk about before or after, what she's doing afterwards. The fight itself, Leslie Smith felt that the fight was stopped early, premature. The referee didn't really read what was happening. Was it the reputation maybe of Cyborg and what she's done to girls before, that when that's happening, that kind of onslaught's coming, it's the beginning of the end? For me, I think the referee saved Leslie Smith an absolute drumming, but at the same time, I think the referee should have let the drumming happen to then justify that stoppage, because you saw Leslie Smith's face afterwards. It was pretty messy already. You imagine how much what it looked like, with like 5 or 6 or 7 more shots going in. What's your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Leslie Smith, you've got a really gutsy fighter there who will battle through damage.
Yeah.
A lot of people turn around and say, yeah, I want that ear to stay on.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
She nearly lost her ear in a fight. That's
Yeah.
sort of.
I guess Ashley Evans Smith fight it was. It was the Ashley Evans Smith fight.
Yeah, it is. If you Google it, guys,
It's gnarly. It is gnarly. I won't lie, folks.
Yeah, Cyborg. I mean, I remember one punch she threw. I remember thinking to myself, that's like a man fighting a girl. And I'm not trying to be.
It's all right, Mike. You've said it now. You can't dig yourself out. It's all right, Mike. We know what you're saying. It's all right.
Yeah, like she threw that shot, and it was like a man had cracked her. You know, the noise, the speed. It was crisp. It was,
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm happy enough with it. You know what I mean?
Right. Spit it out, Mike. Come on.
Yeah. It was beautiful seeing Cyborg in the UFC.
Yeah.
It would be an absolute travesty if she was going throughout her whole career and never fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
So, that was the victory there.
Yeah. Look, next fight, Mike, to talk about the man Jacare taking on Vitor Belfort, and Jacare just literally went in and pretty much took that fight by the scruff of the neck and did what he wanted. When he got Vitor to the ground, you got to remember, folks, Vitor is a legit black belt, but the thing was, Jacare made him look like a little boy and absolutely manhandled him, crushed it. Those elbows from the top, Mike, were beautiful. Just paced himself, just picked them apart. He wasn't even... Jacare just dismantled Vitor in a beautiful manner, not trying to rush anything, taking his time and picking his shots. It was a great performance, and I tell you what, it scrubs away that really poor fight with Yo Romero, where I think that was a stylistic match which cancelled each other out. I think with this fight you had Vitor, who he is way past his prime, no juice. He's not the guy he used to be. Yes, he had a title fight with...
Vitor, I think with Vitor, he's probably the most... He's drug use, elite, legal and illegal use in the UFC is probably the most publicised out there.
Yeah.
You know, he was a prolific user of
Anabolic steroids. Anabolic steroids, yeah.
Mexican supplements.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Vitor, okay, yes, he had that striking ability, etc., etc., but you know what? That man strength seems to have left him now, you know, and...
I don't know it's man strength, Mike. It's not man strength. He's still strong, Mike. Like, he would outlift you any day of the week, Mike. I think
what I mean is the way that when they, like, we saw Chris Wyman hold him down, it was almost like a man fighting a boy, you know.
Yeah, it was, yes. But what we've got to remember is Chris Wyman is a monster of a grappler. He's a monster of a wrestler. Jacare is a monster of a grappler. It's not necessarily that he's not strong enough. It's just that sometimes the supremacy of technique overrules strength.
Yeah, you know, the ability to control and but yeah, it was good to see, and you know, and let's be honest, it wasn't a major surprise, you know, that fight how it ended.
No, it was not. I think Jacare now, for me, is the next one in line for a title shot. I've seen people, we've actually had a little bit of a discussion on Twitter with other people, that some guys say Bisping should get a fight still. I don't think so. I don't believe it. I think Jacare is the man who you need to put in next against the winner of whoever Rockhold and Weidman is. You need to have that hand.
I believe so.
Like, if you want Rockhold and Bisping 2 to happen, you are out of your mind. I'm not saying Weidman won't win. What I'm just saying is, if Rockhold won, the last thing you need is that fight, because Rockhold will finish Bisping sooner, quicker, and easier. Ain't gonna happen. Don't want it to happen. It's as simple as that. Let's do main event, Mike. You had champ Fabrizio Verdum taking on Mr. Stipe Miocic. Now, Stipe got the win. He finished Verdum in the first round. Look, it was. It was the look. Verdum was landing on Stipe, but what blew my mind, like everyone else, I think, was everyone was wondering why was Verdum chasing after Stipe like that, and then Stipe, all he did was flick out his fist. Like, he did not plant his feet to land that shot. He was moving back, used the momentum of Verdum to catch him on the chin and drop him and pumped. You just saw Verdum's body splash on the floor.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of you know, when Anderson Silva was backing up against Forrest Griffin, and he sort of like he put his hand in the way of the oncoming Forrest.
Yes.
It was pretty much the same. You got Verdum coming in and literally chasing, you know.
Yeah, he was.
Around the outside of the cage.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the edge of the cage, and Miocic basically puts his hand in the way, you know, his fist in the way, you know, just throws it out there. Okay, I'm sure there was a bit of weight behind it, but when you're coming in as fast as that, you know.
Yeah.
You're adding power to it as well, you know. So.
You are. Absolutely. I couldn't believe what Verdum was thinking. I think even now he's probably sitting there going, I can't believe I made that mistake. What on earth was I thinking at the moment? Someone's experience. But the thing is, we said off there, Mike, the heavyweight division, you ain't going to see Stipe hold that belt for long. No one holds that belt for long.
No.
Like, Brock Lesnar, Mike, is tied for the longest winning streak of of a heavyweight championship. Like, that shows how crazy that division is, and I don't see Miocic hold it for long. I think if Overeem gets his title shot next, which I think is the next fight that's going to happen, if Overeem wins, I don't see Overeem holding that belt for long, because I think everyone else is each other's Achilles heel. You know, there's a hell of a lot of fights to be made. I like it though. I don't mind it, Mike. I don't mind the fact that you have not got a GSP in the heavyweight division. I like that it changes hands. I like the fact that there's guys that are so competitive and so close to each other that they can beat each other.
Exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is nice to have an outright champion. You know, just goes in there and owns it. But you know what? It's also good to see it go on the move.
It is.
That means you've got a weight division that has no, like, it's that competitive.
Yes.
But you know what? It left me with a good feeling watching Miocic win that. You know, it's. Like, a couple of years ago, who saw him doing that? You know,
he's a completely different fighter. Yeah, Mike? He's a way different fighter than when he lost to Struve. If you put Miocic against Struve now, Mike.
The fighter we've got today, you know.
Yeah, Stipe would destroy Struve right now. Simple as that. And I think as well, you've got to remember. Look, Verdum got knocked out by Junior Santos, cut by the UFC, went to Strikeforce, came back and then won the title. So it's important. You can't ever look at a heavyweight losing. Look at Mark Hunt losing all those fights, and he came back and absolutely kicks ass. In the heavyweight division, you never judge someone on a handful of fights. It's impossible because
like 2 years down the road, 2-3 years. I mean, that was 2012.
Yeah.
We're now 4 years later and he's champion.
Yeah.
So, and it felt good. And the Brazilian fans, they gave him 2 minutes silence.
Yeah. They did, yeah. It was in the, but then again, look, it's going to be that way. If Brazilian loses, they're going to just stop. There's going to be no. If you had Cyborg lost, if Maya lost, if Wally Alves lost, but if you had everyone lose on the card of the Brazilian, the whole place would have been just dead. Like Rob Font, if he had won anything.
While we're on the subject,
go on, Mike. Go on, talk about it. Go on.
The disgusting actions against Matt Brown on his way out to the cage for his fight. There was more than one person trying to touch him in an aggressive violent manner.
Yeah.
One person did hit Matt Brown.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that's disgusting. The only way you should attempt to touch a fighter on the way out or the way back to the change room is their glove.
I know, but the thing is, Mike, there's people out there who are idiots, Mike. I'm not being funny. Listen, Mike, there's idiots out there. Brazil, let's all say it, it's a bit of a rogue place anyway. It ain't exactly law-abiding, nice PC place. Let's just accept that. But the thing is, that was the third biggest attendance, I believe, in UFC history for an event. I think you had Australia, Toronto, now Brazil, 45,000, big card, big numbers. It was a good sign. The thing is, he stacked the card up because I don't think they're going to, for considering as well that Brazil is having an economic downturn, and when I say bad downturn, it's having a bad downturn, folks. So really good numbers for Brazil. They should be happy with that. Let's move on, Mike, let's talk about the fights that are coming up this weekend, because no UFC, but there are a couple of cards worth mentioning to look out for. Italy is hosting Venator, the promotion with the most kind of explicit speaking president, I suppose, in Frank. You've got a hell of a card actually in Italy for European MMA. This is better than Bellator card, BAMMA card, and Cage Warriors card coming up soon. Jacare Manson's fighting on that card. He's a Cage Warriors guy who signed to him, but he's been obviously allowed to travel across for this card. Carl Moore is another Cage Warriors vet who signed up with them for this fight. I don't know if he signed up for any more fights. Cody McKenzie's on this card, Mike. You've got Che Mills is on this card. You've got Sokaju as well as on the card. Simone Thornton is on the card. Matt Hamill's on the card. Jason Miller is on the card fighting against Luke Barnett for the middleweight title. And you've got Paul Harris taking on Emmanuel Meek, who is for the welterweight title. Hell of a fight card. Hell of a card to have in Italy. And that is Venator for you. That is one hell of a stack. That's going to be interesting to see how some of those guys fight, how they perform. It's also good for European MMA and just in general MMA, because you're going to have new faces for people to maybe look out for. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun to watch if you tune in, folks, and enjoy it.
Yeah, I can see that selling. You've got names and entertaining fighters on there as well.
Well, there's not many cards. Italy, that's it. Italy will sell anyway because of the rarity that Italy has there. They had Bellator recently, but there's not that much kicking off down there. You've also got this weekend, Bellator is on. Again, Bellator just goes right under the radar with some of their cards. It's crazy. Like, for example, this week they had King Mo beat Phil Davis. Kudos to Phil Davis. Phil Davis beat King Mo. And Phil Davis will fight now Liam McGeary for the light heavyweight title. Again, super interesting match. I think Phil Davis is different.
Hard pick, that one.
It is. I think Phil Davis is different fight since coming out as well of the UFC. He's getting paid well, 60,000 just for fight day, so kudos to him. But again, like I said, Bellator's on this weekend coming up. Melvin Manhoef's fighting against Rafael Carvalho. Melvin Manhoef, you know what you're going to get with him. He's just going to swing.
Yeah,
And he might swing a little bit more.
I think to myself, the damage he's taken over the years and continues to take, you know what I mean?
I have no idea what you're on about, Mike.
can't promote with it.
I know, no idea what you're on about. I think he puts his hands up pretty well for fights.
I mean, that guy's been knocked out a lot of times now. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is pure entertainment.
Yeah,
I mean,
he is, yeah.
Because you know someone's going out on a stretcher, you know what I mean? Like, it is those kind of fights. I mean, don't get me wrong, I hate the stretcher, you know, it's a bad way of saying it. But what I mean is
Yes.
it's not a bit cool for judges in those fights.
Yeah, I know, Mike, I agree with you. Look, let's move on to the next thing. So, Dennis Siver got injured. You had Cole Miller stepped in to fight BJ Penn. I think that's a hell of a different matchup for BJ Penn. I think it's a harder matchup, in my opinion. Cole Miller is long and gangly and just awkward. His BJJ is legit. I know.
He's not the biggest guy in the world, is he?
No, I know that BJ Penn has got great jits as well. He is a jits monster, but it's because Cole Miller's got all those long arms and limbs. He can be really awkward for fighters. That's the problem with Cole Miller. He's always been inconsistent because his body type sometimes just doesn't work for certain fights. I think it's a hell of a fight. BJ Penn, I look forward to seeing what kind of BJ Penn turns up. I hope that we see a guy that's going to bang. That's what I want to see. Gray Maynard, though, Mike, going down to 145.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you think to yourself, like, the guy's not big, you know what I mean? And he's sort of lightweight.
No, he is. Mike. Gray Maynard is a big boy. Like, he was big for 155.
Yeah. I think, like, his body mass, but he's not tall, you know what I mean? He's not a tall frame, like, you know, he's just a short, stocky frame. But, yeah, you know, you think to yourself, Gray Maynard, like, he's not retired yet, you know?
Well, he's been finished. He's been finished a lot recently. That's the problem. You got brain damage. It doesn't. It's been shown that guys that go down in weight class, it doesn't always benefit them. You know, statistically, it doesn't benefit them.
That sort of, you know, that weight cutting thing.
Yeah.
Know,
it's more damage for the brain. You know, when you're cutting more fluids for the brain, it makes you more susceptible, and that's his problem. He's going to be more susceptible. Diego Ferreira, another fighter getting popped. Another guy getting stung, and also coincidentally was John Jones tweeting about the fights happening in Brazil, how he was having like a bet with his friends, or I think they had like a raffle or whatever it was to pick. You know, you were given a name of who would win and stuff like that. And at the end of it all, he was saying, "Oh, I had a bad night. All my guys lost. Oh, shut." He said you saw it really worked on. Took it out on them boys. Basically hinting that all the guys that lost were juiced up previously. I like it, John Jones. I do, don't get me wrong. I thought it was quite comical. Yeah. There's some guys that were, especially Vitor, who look like Superman. Last thing, Mike, let's talk about Demetrius Johnson getting he got an 8-fight deal with the UFC. I hope he's getting paid well with it. I hope he gets big money because he deserves it. He's done everything he needed to. And
they're obviously trying to tie him up for his new retires. You know, that's what it sounds like.
But what?
You've got a guy that's done everything he needs to do in the fight game.
Yeah.
You know, so when they then get like an 8-fight deal, it's a bit like when Anderson Silva got a 10-fight deal.
Yeah.
It's basically to tie him up for the rest of his career.
It is. But also with Demetrius Johnson.
The UFC don't want him to go anywhere.
No.
So I don't give a shit what you fans say. The UFC recognise his ability and his worth, and they were obviously trying to tie him up and beat him there.
But what they've done, Mike, is they've brought back Tough, and they're actually going to do the 125 winner of the Tough season gets the fight with Demetrius Johnson for the title. But it's a little bit different than it was before, whereas before they said obviously they're going to do tough tryouts. You go down the usual kind of saga, like let's say, and then you get in, etc., and that's it. But now they've said they're going to hand-pick champions and fighters, so they're going to hand-pick the 125 guys for this competition. So you'll probably see certain fighters. I don't think every fighter will be in, but I think you'll see certain, because it depends what the other promotions say about letting them go. But you'll see some interesting names, but I'm not sure how I feel about it all. I'm still not overly keen.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think what we really have to do is we have to wait and see until the cast gets announced, and then get on a little research platform.
There's not even research. Let's put it this way.
Guys that have been chosen, you know.
But Mike, if you're not in the 125 division in the UFC right now, you shouldn't be fighting Demetrius Johnson, because that guy's another level. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think it should happen. But look, that's what's happening, man.
You'd want to be heavier, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, move up.
Yeah.
You know,
That's.
the guy looks formidable.
So look, folks, that's it this week. Again, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to jump on Twitter, Facebook, just do John and Mike's MMA Corner. Just click on Google. We'll pop up. Load of shit will be there. Give us a like, follow, comment, talk to us, interact. We're more than happy to engage with you all. Again, thank you for listening. Next week we'll be back and we'll talk even more.